I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Say that.
What?
I like that you say that way. The senator, I've never heard anyone actually phrase that. Wow.
What's that? Wow, but
Well,
it's, plus, sometimes it's consideration, you
No,
know.
when
you have to
it's
be-
difficult, you know?
Yeah, she went, I mean, I know she went through that. A lot of times people have issues that they, you know, we have elderly people too, that's just hard for them to get up and down. Okay, with that, we've called the meeting to order. Our goals and objectives, Charles, and I'll let you get started.
Sure. Thank you, Mayor. As I indicated in the cover memo, this workshop was requested by Commissioner Vito. It's actually the third time we've attempted to hold this workshop. I think we started last May. It was the first time. She did not ask for a strategic planning update. She provided us with navigating the council manager relationship and 12 rules of elected officials. So I'm not really sure what direction she wanted to go. If it was more goals and objectives for the commission as a body versus the city strategic plan. With the strategic plan, we can certainly go through it. My recommendation would be when we get the master plan in hand in the spring, March, April, we revise, we update this. Then it would have been 2 years for the strategic plan. We've made some progress, and then that will kick off our budgeting cycle once we have a new strategic plan in place. With her absence today, I'm not sure what direction she wanted to go with this workshop.
Okay. Do you want to just run through the strategic plan, and then I agree, I believe that we should wait until we get our master plan, and then come up with some goals and objectives that we might be able to premature with this, right? I mean, we already have our strategic plan in place.
And I didn't know if she wanted to
What
like,
is the strategic plan that we're supposed to be looking to?
well, we've got the one we did, it's been almost been a year and a half, year and 3/4. I didn't know what she had in mind was more like,
Okay, so who's running the meeting today?
well, the chair.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so if you look at what we, had in mind,
What do you mind?
Speaking to your mind.
if we look at what we had in mind, whatever, a year and a half ago, and see where we are, and see if we need to, add or, do whatever.
Hey, Commissioner.
Things that we've accomplished should be
Okay.
taken off. I mean, let's start there.
Okay.
Well, I think we just need to go through and review our strategic plan and see some things that we've accomplished and not accomplished.
Okay.
And then once we've done that, I think our master plan, once we get our master plan, then we can implement our whole.
Okay, so, we have facilitated, strategic planning workshop. We had the, retired city managers come in and facilitate that process. And out of that, we ended up with 4 areas of focus: community and economic development, quality of life, livability, community services, high performing government, and the environment. And then from there, 7 goals were pulled out of that. Under the first one was attract new businesses and jobs and attract new full-time residents. Under quality of life, establish welcoming places and eliminate blighted properties. Under community services, high performing government, and ensure city infrastructure meets the needs of the community and can handle growth, and increase communication with residents and businesses. And then under environment, ensure a high quality of water in city lakes. So from there, we'll go through each goal. We broke them down into objectives and strategies. Objective 1 under attract new business was to use the CRA to offer incentives to fill vacant buildings in the redevelopment districts. We would improve exterior appearance of buildings with grant funds, utilize grant funds to redevelop buildings to turnkey condition, and offer grant funds to assist with build-out expenses for new tenants. And so far what we've done, we created initially our grant program was not competitive, it was 100% grant. We did, I think, about 5 grants, and then we revised the program. This last round was competitive. We ended up with awarding 9 applications, A few of them, 3 of them were actually ended up being ARPA funds as opposed to CRA funds, but right now we're in the process of that work being done. Those are all exteriors. We have not yet had someone request a grant for interior build out. And then objective 2 was to participate in the Main Street program to assist existing businesses and attract new businesses. First strategy was to establish a Main Street organization with committee structure, board of directors, and annual work plan. And number 2 was to apply for and then maintain Main Street status with Florida Main Street. And this objective we have completed, and participation and support will be an ongoing effort. Goal number 2, attracting full-time residents. First objective was to improve broadband availability, identify grant funding sources that assist with broadband infrastructure build out, and coordinate with Putnam County initiatives to increase broadband availability.
Can I ask about that?
Yeah.
We have a program.
Well,
I mean, now
We actually-
we do.
We do
there's
appropriate.
two vendors. We have Xfinity or.
At the time, we didn't.
Okay.
At the time, we were really kind of just coming into that. Now we're a 1 gig community and we have 2 vendors.
Right.
So we've accomplished that. So we've accomplished.
And we've been supported, the chamber has a dedicated committee, we,
Right.
provide our support for their efforts.
I was making sure that, yeah.
The second one was
Yes.
to market residential aspects and amenities of our community, market the proximity of parks, lakes, libraries, services, et cetera, to residential areas, market availability of lots and historic homes in the neighborhoods, and market tree-lined streets, bike trail atmosphere. And we have not yet addressed this objective. Goal number 3, establishing welcoming places. Work with the school board on the Miller School site was the first objective. Communicate our desire for the site to the school board leadership, identify alternative sites for a new school, identify funding source to assist with acquisition of alternative site for a new school. We did communicate our desire for that site, the mixed-use site, and you can see the direction I think that the planning is going is the north portion, north third, probably mixed-use commercial, residential commercial, the middle third, civic uses, and the southern third, probably residential uses or high-density residential.
Can we talk about this?
Yeah.
As we're moving on here? I found a grant, and this grant is, through the Environmental Protection, Florida Department of Environmental Protection. It could be a grant that's worth about $5 million. And it's basically for parks and open spaces, and a Florida Forever Grant program. And, it's kind of large, it's due by January 10th. However, if I look at this grant, it seems to foot the bill for the whole school to possibly acquire the whole school, purchase the whole school, all the grounds around it, down to the lake, if we can get it at a reasonable amount. And I really think this particular grant is something that we should look at. I mean, my vision is to go ahead and purchase that if we can, if the school will give us a decent price, purchase the whole kit and caboodle. Okay, that would give us some more property along the lakefront. Okay, actually quite a bit of property along the lakefront, which is great for recreation. It would be able to expand Sunrise Park in that vicinity for that. It would give us the building for the historical piece to that, the historical building that they've already spent time in. They recognize that, they like it. It's a great building. They did such a nice job, they hate to lose it. It would give us an opportunity to bring the sheriff back in. We would also now have a gym, okay, which everybody says, well, what do we need that for? Well, we could have indoor pickleball courts, and we could do a lot of things with indoor recreation at that point in time. And that's something that would have to, be discussed as to how that would work. We also would have the auditorium, which basically becomes a cultural center. And not only do we have Purple Phone players, but there would be plenty of opportunities to bring things into the auditorium that people would enjoy. The Cypress Street, which is now been closed off for so many years, should be opened back up so that we can go back and forth. And the buildings that are right now structured or one structure, I think there's 25, schoolrooms on the south side of Cypress. Could possibly be turned into north side of it, I'm sorry. Well, yeah, I'm backwards sometimes. Could possibly be, made into hotels or some type of, that type of, living or whatever. And I just think that, City Hall, I said to you the other day, instead of us living in a tin can down there in front of the fire station, we would have a place for City Hall at that point as well. It's a grant that's worth looking at.
Is it a cabinet approved grant for the Florida Forever
Yes.
plan?
And
Have you've looked through the whole thing?
I've looked through.
I used to, as a cabinet, working in the cabinet, we used to approve those.
Yes.
So you typically are looking for conservation lands.
Well, it's
I mean,
kind of,
does it say that,
it's
to
kind of,
try to protect from, I'm
Yes.
not saying that,
all of
to
that,
try to protect from development.
all of that is there, but see, it's our area's already developed. And so it makes it kind of a unique thing. We have everything that they're asking for in this grant. And they also include a historical building. The minimum is 1,000 square feet to 15,000 square feet. So I mean, that structure would already be there. So, between bathrooms, buildings, whatever you need to probably have some type of educational system as well. Because they really want that to happen, okay, where people are having, that piece to it. I think we have it right there.
Yeah.
I really do, and I think it's worth looking at.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, we need to start that. That was on my mind. So you went back, going to yeah, that's on my mind today to really come and find out what kind of effort we need to start something. We need to start, and put it that way. And that grant would be a good way to start.
Now,
And that would give us time to brainstorm and figure out some of the things that we want to do. But we got to start.
and that doesn't mean the grant will get the grant.
Right.
But we need to start somewhere, instead of just coming back every single month, every meeting, focusing on the school, that's what it talks, so it sounds like to me now. And so I think we need to put one step out and say, let's put this out here, let's see what can happen, let's talk to the school again, let's see if they will sell the whole thing to us again, and see what we can do if indeed we might be able to finagle this, particular grant to fit the need that we have here in Crescent City.
Cause if you pay attention, Jenkins, before they changed hands, they were striving to get that, get the whole Jenkins, or they were gonna move City Hall out there. If they were not successful, but the price that they offered, the school, the financial school turned that down. But they was, they had a plan, they had an action plan. I don't feel like we got an action plan, we just wishing.
Well,
We're the time to stop wishing
sure.
and do something.
Now, if we get turned down, if everything gets turned down and we do everything that we possibly can, then we've done everything that we possibly can, and it will no longer have to be one of our big focuses at that point. However, I think if we get cracking, and it's not just gonna be the city, it's gotta be all the people that are interested in seeing that become a livable building again, they have to become involved in a positive way. And just say, hey, get behind the city, get behind everybody, and let's start pushing this in the correct way. And I think if this happened, it'd be great. It just would be great. So that's my offer on.
But just to remind you, we are in a planning process. We are taking steps forward. there was some, Benoit outlined some ideas for the site, preliminary of reestablishing Cypress, of preserving the building for civic use, the southern end for, so we are getting the plan, we wanna, get it adopted, so we all agree, so we're not going on a plan, and then we could, like, oh, we just adopt this, and now let's go over here with this new idea. So I think we are moving forward, you're gonna see the draft, and it's interesting, what I'm hearing is we need to hurry up and do a plan, and then the other night we were like, let's slow down and do
Well,
this plan slower, so.
I just think if you have a grant that may be available to you, that we need to go for
Well, certainly worth looking at the plan, as long as it's not to conserve the land in a natural state, which would be contrary to, I think, the direction
it. Well, that's
we've begun to go.
fine,
so,
we
yeah.
just need to see what we can do.
Oh, if you can remember, when Bill was still in our county commission, we were talking about a community center. Friends, they don't have a community center, and most cities have a community center. That would be it too.
Yeah, it would become,
Yeah,
it would become
really would.
a central place for Crescent City government and Crescent City, whatever.
Commissioner.
I just wanted to remind Commissioner Burke for now, but also, in addition to that, I mean, this is something that I've been talking about before I became commissioner. I mean, I think the ultimate goal is we certainly need to be the owners of that site. I don't know if we need to be paying as much or anything to the school district.
That has to be negotiated.
That has to be negotiated, and exactly, and that's why I was trying to get us to open a dialogue with them for a while now. And I think that would be the first place to start. That appraisal price of like $4 million they have was just kind of a number that they were using at a time. I don't think that it's anywhere near that we could probably acquire the site for. And I think it's also, they have a plan to use it for the next 3 years until the other two schools are done.
We can negotiate that.
We can negotiate that, we just need to sit down and start talking.
We need to start working towards something. Right now, we're just backpedaling. We're not doing anything with it. And to me, I find that very frustrating.
Yeah, we just talking.
We're planning right now.
Well, if you're planning, that's good. But, I guess we have a grant that's going in for a historical type grant that might go in. I don't understand.
But we've got the small category grant.
It's a bit small, if the legislature approves the funding, we'll have
We're
to update our
27.
inventory.
But we can start, that would help us. Is it like for certification to become a historical?
It would help with our certified local government application, but it's really, the survey was done back in,
90s,
95,
95, yeah.
some things have been torn down, some things have become, are now qualified to be on the list that weren't old enough back then and so forth, so it's an important step.
You're supposed to do it every 10 years, I think. Something, take your historic property inventory, and we've gone a lot more than 10 years.
Coming up on 30.
So,
And I think another good thing, this is election year, 24. So if we can get that grant,
I think it'd be great. to
yeah,
get that grant.
we got time, we gotta look at all kind of angles. But like you said, we
You
need
gotta
to start.
You gotta start somewhere, and, I look at these all the time. I just do, I don't know, I'm kind of weird like that, but this is one that I think could, maybe not, but could fit our needs for that piece of property.
That's history, now that is history. I just remember the years of history it is, but I know it's 70-some years. Yes, it is.
The other thing it's got going for us here is we're a very small community. Anybody that has over 10,000, people, they've got to put 25% down. We don't have to put anything down because we only have 1,600. Okay, so this is money that is given to us. It's just given to us. Which I think, we are, I believe, hate to say it, but we're economically, we're hurting. This could really help, bring us up. And that's something that I've always wanted to do, but there's been limited funds to do that. So, anyway, I'll stop now.
Well, a good thing, a big part of these strategies were to find a place somewhere else to build a school, and we had folks working behind the scenes, and that was accomplished. So, the school is going to be built on Hayfield, and it opens up the opportunity for redevelopment of the site or something else. Objective 2 was to identify improvements needed for all city parks. Strategy was to commission a Powder master plan and then to implement the plan. We have not done that. Master plans cost a lot of money, but we've been doing a lot of repair of missing and broken picnic tables, ball field lights, repaired bleachers at both the soccer field and the basketball courts. We added new picnic tables at Fletcher Park and a kayak soft launch, as well as we updated all the old park rule signs to a branded sign. And we're in the process of replacing the park name signs with branded signs as well.
Sounds good.
Yeah, they really did a nice.
Good, I am personally upset with when I walk on Lake Stella and I see you can park up to here and you've given, I don't know how much grassy area for people to park on. You can only park up to here on the grass. I would rather not see people park on the grass if they don't have to. That's just my opinion. But anyway.
You know, we had a key piece of parking land, somebody came in and got it. Right there, I can't think of that street now, man. What the fire station said, what is that?
That's eucalyptus.
You know, this, right at the end, that piece of land there, for parking. We've been hurting in this town for parking for a long time.
That's the one I think with the tree, is that the one with the big trees, where the tree went down?
Yeah, man, yeah, right in that area.
At Grand Rondo?
Yeah, Grand Rondo.
We really been hurt. So when we have a big festival or something, they'll always, but they use it for the catfish festival, or parking, stage parking area.
So that's no more.
Yeah.
But anyway, I am a conservationist at heart. And when I saw those signs, it's like, when did we make that area parking area? I guess in my mind, the park is somewhat a conservation park. What I see is a lot of times people with the wheelies, people going in, really, it's kind of muddy here. Been muddy here lately, and I just,
Those
it is what it is, but I don't like it.
Yeah, I've been there for years before I got here.
Oh, these are all brand new.
You know where that
Well,
drainage,
I replaced the existing signs with a more attractive sign.
that drainage right there too.
Yeah.
What makes that part real bad when it rains?
It's real bad.
Yeah, it is real
It's
bad.
in real bad places.
That's where everyone parked whenever there's an event at Dexter Beach or Sunset Park.
Well, that's fine, I'm just expressing that
The
I
spring
don't think
fest,
that
and they
there's
had to
no-
drive across there for the spring
there is
fest,
no
and they
reason
didn't want the
to
sidewalks.
do that. That's
The new signs are more
It's an opinion.
obvious, you can see them.
Yeah.
It's the,
So
there's all ones that you've aligned before.
goal number 3 was establishing walking places. The objective was to maintain all medians and parks to a high quality, that's mowed, edge, trim, mulch, clean. The strategies were to create a to-do board at the Public Works Department and supplement crews as needed in order to maintain the parks in the growing season. We've done a fair amount of success on keeping up with that this year. We created a supervisor position, Public Works Supervisor, to oversee the crews and maintenance. And then we've added a position, which we're still in the process of filling, for this fiscal year.
What is that, plant that you planted in there?
Perennial.
Perennial peanut,
Okay,
yeah.
because it looks great and it fills in real well. I think the medians are looking amazing.
You notice that when you go into other communities, especially larger communities where they have the staff, become very sensitive to their medians.
But it's much better than just on grass.
Yeah.
Gives it some better texture.
Objective 4 is to promote historic preservation. Strategies were to support efforts of the Brooklyn Peninsula Historical Society, support downtown historic preservation efforts of the downtown partnership, and then create a historic preservation committee to support historic preservation efforts citywide. We have achieved, we reactivated or activated our historic preservation board by filling, we actually have a vacancy now because of one member moved to the Planning and Zoning Commission, and establishing a meeting schedule. They've been involved in our land development code update. We support the historical society's preservation with activities, banners on 17, promoting the associated activities. And we're also currently in the process of applying for certified local government status, as well as we hopefully be funded for the grant we applied for.
Yeah,
Got a
no, I'll
favorable
help with
ranking.
that, with that.
Goal number 4 is eliminate blighted properties. Objective was identify blighted properties and code improvements necessary to eliminate violations. The strategies were to develop and adopt minimum maintenance standards, warn and cite all properties with deferred maintenance on the building and grounds, and investigate a city app which would enable residents to send in reports of violations. We were not successful in adopting the standards. However, we do have a new software program that our code officer uses, and our website now has a 311 button function where folks can notify us of problems or violations. We're not allowed to take anonymous code violations, but we do take those that provide their name and
So
address.
they should put the name on
contact
it,
information.
okay.
And we have not researched an app for code enforcement at this time.
Okay, Commissioner Moore, do you have?
I just wondered, that's live, is that working?
It is, yeah. We get a little email saying 311 comment.
I'm still in the process of trying to figure out how to email them, how to answer them back, but I do have their email addresses.
I was gonna try it last night just to see, I just don't, I noticed it pop up, but, months ago, I just didn't know if it was working. We're gonna set it up.
It's working.
Objective 2 is take code enforcement action to require property owners to upgrade their properties to meet code. Bring all code cases to the code enforcement board and enforce all fines and liens for code violations. Ensure that all property owners are treated equally by creating a predictable path to resolution for code violations. Build a relationship with community members, prevent code violations through education via website and other community efforts, and develop a rental inspection program. And we're still ongoing with this objective. We did purchase the software I mentioned, which is helping make our process more efficient. And we're sorting through the old liens and so forth that have been around for years to clean up those lingering cases. And we have not yet addressed the rental inspection program.
I saw it, something, I took a screenshot of it, and, today, somebody was looking for a rental property, and they were talking about, I guess, how their landlord was holding them hostage, as far as things that they wanted them to do, that they wouldn't do, and they were having to connect to a neighbor. It was playing something like this, and who would they report that to? It's definitely something that we go.
Is it Oakland or Jacksonville?
No, it was definitely Putnam County. I think it was, and it wasn't Crescent City, it seemed like it was from somewhere from Pomona.
I know Jacksonville,
Jacksonville got their issues.
they got the issue with that.
But I just saw that and I said, that plays into that, being able to go in and assist those renters who really, especially right now in an environment where you can't find a rental. So you're locked in, you've got one right now.
I was just wondering what we actually meant by that, the rental inspection. Is that
It was,
inspecting properties that are rented for someone, I didn't know if that was vague.
My recollection was, the issue was basically a landlord who wasn't maintaining for the tenant to be able to inspect it and then hold the landlord accountable for the conditions they leave it in. I believe that's what the intention was.
that was my understanding when we did that, it was more to help the renters, so when the landlord wasn't doing what they were supposed to be doing.
Yeah, they weren't meeting it, conditions. They avoid inspection sometimes by various means of
So it would be like an annual thing or something that is just done when a realtor has a
We
problem?
haven't hashed out.
Okay, that's what I.
I remember when I was in the city of Groveland, we were working on it, we had that problem that in their case, the landlord would put everything in their own name. So we never knew when tenants were changing or how many families were packing into the place. And there were very bad conditions, so we were trying to trigger it on, water hookup or something. Somebody comes in for new service, the building official can go and make sure that it meets basic life standards, life safety, and, but there's some challenges to that, I don't know what they were, but it's, the legality was.
We used to really have a problem with residents with that. One family would come in and get an apartment, and about 6 months, and then you see 8 cars right there
Yeah, that's a,
in a 4-room house.
yeah,
But I don't know what took place, but something took place, you don't see as much of it now as it used to be. But we still have a few scattered, but not as much.
It's unfortunate that the misinformation that was sent out on the minimum maintenance standards, because people not realizing the effect that has on their property values. And you know, your home is usually your greatest asset. That we weren't trying to, you know, go in and take those properties and,
Get ready to go in, you know.
please don't say that, please don't say that.
I didn't jest.
Yeah, not even in jest, because it's gonna be all over Facebook, that here we are again.
It is all the time anyway, it just keeps
trying
coming back.
to, but it's just unfortunate that we didn't, and we could not come to some consensus, even if we did a scaled down minimum maintenance. And so, Charles, as we go forward, maybe that's something that we can do. I know you
Just simplify it further.
do something, yeah, that's palatable to everybody.
So goal number 5 was ensure city infrastructure meets the needs of the community and can handle growth. The objective was, one, was to implement an infrastructure plan from Mid-Hour Engineering for water, wastewater. That's on the wall behind you on the other side. The whole paper up on the wall identifies the projects. Strategies were design, engineer, Prospect Street, Main Street projects with ARPA funds, which we did. Apply for CDBG funds for projects on the list, we did. We have one currently open. And we got 2 appropriations for the Prospect and South Main, and then seek other funding sources, which those appropriations we got. So we've had a significant amount of success and progress with this objective. We have almost $4 million in grants.
And that's ongoing, we have more,
We just
more
applied
on
for
offer that we've asked for.
Legislation and for a small $300,000 grant, which would help us design the loop of the north tower.
Is that what the RAF is?
Yes, that, rural infrastructure fund grant.
Is that USDA or?
I don't remember, agriculture maybe.
I thought I'd seen it
I think
somewhere.
it's USDA, or it's USDA.
So that would be $300,000, which would help us get that project shovel ready. And then objective 2, prepare a 5-year capital improvement plan for improvements needed to maintenance of streets, water lines, including water sewer lines in those stations, all sewer and stormwater manholes and stormwater drainage. So identify a list of new projects to be completed and identify a list of maintenance projects to be completed. So we did the last couple of years, we've done a small capital CIP, and then right now Dale is working on a much revised and much more sort of wish list of things we want to see grow, and we'll workshop that with you in the coming months. It'll become part of the budget document, but really looking at really the minimum will be up to us to find the funding, but right now it's about a $26 million CIP for the city. So that'll be this, we work on this objective every single year.
Because, I mean, to be honest, the CIP in the last few years has basically been just kind of.
Well, we knew we had.
From before.
Yeah.
You know, and,
Yeah.
I mean, you can look at the same one from 10 years ago, it basically has the same thing.
Yeah.
And just kind of hopes that we're gonna pave some roads and stuff like that, and it just really has no meaning really. Which we know we have capital needs, we just need to put it in there and
Yes.
figure it out. When we talk about this subject of sewer, where do we have septic that is?
Well, the one identified on the map is Grand Rondo, quite a large area along,
It's on the
Grand
west
Rondo.
side, it's on
And
the
then
west side.
It's all over the city, actually. I've been continuing to be amazed where we have septic tanks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Even across the street from me, on South Prospect. They had some issues with and realized that they were on septic.
Mhm.
And they just converted over to a sewer.
Yeah.
And that's just right there. They're still running on septic there and it's right on the lake.
And I know that there's those,
I can't figure,
Citrus 21 and those places there that were.
There y'all are.
I can't figure out how I got my house, what I built on sewer. Two or three of the others on the same side, they don't have to take.
Really?
Yeah, we had, if you look, we had to refund the man back, but they
Oh,
don't.
yeah, they were charging him.
Yeah, they charged for years.
Yeah, so there's still spotty septic all over the city.
Yeah, it really.
But we have ordinances in place that if the line is there, you have to connect to it, right?
I'm not sure how it reads. That could be with the sale of the property.
So I was just wondering why we haven't enforced that.
I'd have to look at how it reads. I know when we talked about, the brand new house on 308, they wouldn't wait for us, so they put in a septic tank. And Keith was telling me, well, when they sell
And
it, the new owner will have to, not the first when they sell it this time, but when that owner sells it, they'll have to connect. So that may be the way that the ordinance reads. So if they've been living there for 30 years, they've never been forced to connect. So goal 6 is to increase communication with residents and businesses. Objective 1 was increase social media presence. The strategy was increase social media posts about city issues and communications. We've done this as well as creating videos to update residents on infrastructure projects and upcoming events. Objective 2 was improve website experience. Increase information on city website and redesign and utilize Visit Crescent City. What we did was we were offered a complete redesign of our site we renewed our service, which we did. We added a visit page. It's a CRA page with a visit component because we could not get access to visitcrescentcity.org. So now we have a business directory, events and so forth on that visit page.
Can I interject there?
Yes.
We remodeled the site by basically updating the colors and adding a few other menus, but all of the information on there is not updated. It's all old. You can't find like the current water and wastewater sewer, rates. You can't find last year's budget or this year's budget. You can't find, if you go on there trying to looking for something, it's almost impossible to find it. And I sent you a list of suggestions and some notes about it. It's just really, it's embarrassing really how much that website just does not satisfy our needs. I would really like find out a way that we can fix that. Because, even the navigation of it, it's just the departments, like finding the water quality report, which the new ones haven't been put out there. It's not under public works or under the water department, it's under utility billing. And that doesn't make any sense at all. It just really leaves a lot to be desired. And like I was saying before, the master planning part, you have it on that little tab on the side. All you have to do is scroll, as soon as you scroll down, that tab disappears into a little box that has nothing on it. That's just, not effective.
Well, and that's something that I guess we would have to, talk to the web hosting company.
Well-
To see, I know you already have, to see how we can enhance this more so than what they've already given us. This is something that Michael Esposito contracted to do and to build.
Well, it's a work in progress,
Yeah.
and so it's on us to send them the information, and we've been weeding through it, finding old versions or old information. So that part's on us to send them that information here, put it on the site. The template is we have offers different templates for the money, so we can have we have other templates that would cost us more money. So, and again, we picked a different template. I might get the same references from somebody else, like, oh, that's not a good template. So, it's an ongoing, we'll keep working in, I'm working with Karen to keep looking at it and send those folks the new everything, the new, we updated the comprehensive plan, we still have the old one on there, we didn't swap it out, those kind of things, they slip through the cracks, so that's just an ongoing process. So if we can send those to us in an email, it gives us something to work off of to check it and get that updated.
I think to Unicode, where are we on Unicode? I mean, I've been asking, I know, I mean, this, back
Well,
2 years ago when we started with them, yeah.
I think the code part is essentially done. They were waiting for the land development code update. And then I told them, don't wait, just let's go with the old one. They said, well, they won't have to charge you to just swap out the old for the new, so we'll just wait for the new if you're just a couple months away. So,
Okay.
we get the new land development code adopted, it all goes up on the side.
But that process has been, I mean, that date keeps moving further and further out for this adapting the new code.
Yeah, I can ask them what it would cost us to change it out and I'll just put the old one up there.
Just get the old one. I think that would be very beneficial to anybody looking for anything, because with Unicode, you can just even put on there what your dog and everything.
It'll tell you everything that's all.
Everything has a dog in it, so.
Okay, objective 3, enhance mail outs to residents. Design brand insert for additional information to residents and include insert in mail outs. And this we've done, and as Commissioner Lori pointed out, the flaw here is people that don't get the tangible mail, just get an email, it's not included. So we're working on including that in emails that go out as well. And then 7 is ensure a high quality of water in the city lakes. First objective, reduce septic tanks, implement septic sewer plan, identify funding sources for septic sewer. And that's where we are with this. We've got to be able to fund those programs, so we have to fund design and we have to fund construction. And number 2 was reduce stormwater runoff into the lakes, develop a master plan, and implement a stormwater master plan, which our comp plan before I did it, I was doing it by 2011.
Yeah.
And I had a mid-hour give me an estimate of a stormwater plan, and they misunderstood and thought it meant for the downtown. It'd be $150,000 just for the downtown. So I had a feeling that a citywide stormwater plan would be about $300,000. So again, that would be a grant funded plan. We would have to fund that through a grant, then we have a plan, and then we started looking for grants to implement the plans.
That's something that with St. John's Water Management, maybe we can start talking
They might
about
have a
that and see
plan.
what they've done, yeah.
And was that just a plan as far as like the improvements that we need, or would that be able to be used as justification for implementing a stormwater utility fee?
It would, if that's your desire, and it would tell us, to catch and treat all of our water based on our geography. Here's where ponds need to go, here are the measures you would need to implement. So that would have us actually identify parcels, and infrastructure we need to put in place to catch all the rainwater before it goes into the lakes. So it's expensive to make, and then when you have it, you got an expensive list of projects, but you just start
Yeah, then we can start one at a time.
Start one at a time, yeah, just like the water and sewer plan. So that's where we are. I think we've made a lot of progress in just 2 years. Again, in the context of when we adopt the master plan, we can look at this again in a workshop setting and see if we want to tweak that.
Because I think when we get the master plan, we actually can digest it. I think we'll find that, our goals and objectives are gonna change. Could be drastically in some areas, since they were gonna have to refocus on this. We know stormwater, we're not gonna refocus that, that's something that we're gonna have to go forward with and continue, but there's some other things and things we can take off our list too. I mean, some of these we've accomplished and we've done well. So that's why I like big check marks, Charles, that's the only thing, is
But check box.
one big check marks, it's kind of like on your to-do list, I love to do the to-do list, sometimes you do it at the end of the day, and then so just so you can just check things off. Yeah. Does anybody have anything else that they wanna add to this with a strategic plan?
No, I think we're trying, we're going in the right direction. Yeah, we got some things to do, but, it takes time. When you deal with a grant, it takes money. Yeah, it takes money, yes. Yes,
But we've accomplished a lot, I mean, I
Yes,
think
we
that's what we wanna look at too, is,
yes, we
where
do.
have we come and, I feel also it's, that what we've added that's really not on there is the amount of information that we're sending out to the public. That, or, you know, if they wanna know, it's there. Yeah, I mean, it used to be that the public would get just an agenda. You remember that?
Yeah, I
Go
do.
back up, you'd sit in the audience and not have a clue what they were talking about. Now it's right there at their fingertips. Everything that we have, for the most part, the public has, and they have it right about the same time we have it, so they can digest it
I just, man,
too.
I just wish my loving company, what I used to work for almost 40 years, would string the lights. I've been trying to get lights so people can see they coming in across the city.
They told me November.
Yeah, that's what I know.
Didn't they say July?
And when they said
Yeah,
LP,
yeah, it's-
and when they said LPL, I had the contract, I said, oh. Sorry about it, no bit. Yeah.
Cause that's the street lights going all the way from Vernon to the, like, Aspen Dixie, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
City limits.
Yeah, it was dark.
Yes, that we need.
It would be.
Because you ain't careful, you pull out the traffic from windows.
I'll send them a note asking what it says.
It's dark, you know, I mean, on some of our other, I mean, like Prospect, South Prospect Street, it's really dark down. It's
Yeah.
really dark down there. If it's dark down there, it's
I used to have some
lights
say so,
in different
but.
areas, but it's dark. If you get on these side streets too, it can,
Well, I think they were starting, quite honestly, I put a, light on one of the poles. Supposed to, but to light up the street in front of my house.
the solar light,
It's a solar light, doesn't cost anything but the lights, and $134, and it's been up there now for a couple of years, so it's,
Does it last throughout the night?
oh, yeah.
They've gotten, I mean, if there's a call LED, I mean, those things are, the technology's come a long way.
Yeah.
And both the
it's
solar
nice.
panels and the lights.
Yes,
will last
it's really have.
a lot longer. Talking about lights, this, parking lot that we have here,
It cycles.
yeah, it turns on and off.
One in the park does it too.
That's-
Well, that's.
Yeah.
It's gonna take
All
all time.
times or something, or something.
something happens out there, cause it came on the other day, all of a sudden, it was dark, and then it came on. I don't know if it was motion, it's almost like it was motion activated, kind of like that, like you said, the one across from the Baptist church at the park, you know, how that would do that. But, that was mentioned to me the other day, that if there's some way we could do even some motion lights out in the parking lot, that it's really dark.
Well, that,
And this time of year, it's, you
It's
know,
dark.
when they come out of a meeting, especially if somebody leaves by themselves, we had some elderly ladies that went out by themselves the other night, and it was very dark. So
it's a, that mercury vapor that faces.
Must be conservation thing or something, or
No, but
it shuts itself off.
I mean, if the light bulb is not working anymore, it'll do that, it'll turn on. I mean, is FPL, is that one of our lights with them, or?
that's one of, I believe that's FPL's lights.
Yeah, they changed out and put those other style lights in, I reckon, you know, it's for the city and, the individual too.
The Cobra lights, they swap them out.
Yeah, yeah. To me, it looked like the other one was the brightest, but I don't know. He said it was more efficient, that was.
So another thing that I see now, the BJ has done this, he gets along pretty well with his tablet. So when is the city gonna consider tablets instead of, how many trees are we cutting down to, make our packets?
Sorry, I left my paper, so I think it should,
You guys have to duke it out and tell them, give you direction.
Yeah, optional, that's optional, cause I really like my
Well,
paper.
when we have a small budget, what is the budget, how much do we spend on paper? Probably a pretty good sized budget, I would think.
Would you like us to replace your packet with a tablet?
I could replace it with a tablet. I'm thinking that the city should really kind of get more, yes, thank you, high tech, get with tablets, it saves a lot of money. Saves a lot of money.
You really with this paper, I tell you, you get that much paper, and kinda hard to navigate through. I get lost, y'all be talking and I be trying to find out where we at.
Would you also prefer a tablet?
Yeah.
I mean, for those
I
people,
recommend that.
You can make the.
I mean, this is a, I have a mini because I'm always holding it. It's, It's great for me.
Samsung has a really, a less expensive one that has the pen, so that
You
you
can get them for like $150 each.
so you can write up,
For-
so you're gonna wanna be able to make notes on it as well.
Yeah, you wanna be able
So
to.
you're gonna want a pen, you're gonna want a pen with them. The other thing is when, okay, yeah, like that, so you have that. The other thing I want to talk about though is if you have a tablet, does it stay here? Is it assigned out? And just making sure that if it is assigned out, that it's never used for any personal.
Okay, so there, when,
We have to have a
I don't
policy.
mean to interrupt you or anything, but when I was taking class, they did come up with this subject did come up in class. And one of the clerks had said what she does is she loads up the agenda and the packet. And then instead of coming picking up paper packets, they come and pick up that, they come and pick that up. Then they leave them here. So then the following month, she does the same thing, she loads up, but they can still go back and check what happened in, the month before. She said she leaves it there, but she monthlies it
Okay.
in each year. So she brings it in and she just says, da-da-da-da, there you go, here you go, here you go. And then you guys have it a week before, the same thing, you guys would have it a week before, the meeting.
I got an old one. I got the first sermon I ever preached on.
Pretty neat.
And that's been 13 years. I got 13, I had to die. By the faith. But it's good for me. I can go back, somebody asked me what I ministered from 13 years ago, and I can go back to it and download it and print it out.
You continue to amaze me.
I can-
You are that tech savvy, you are that tech savvy.
No, I ain't that-
Continue to amaze me.
I ain't that-
So here I am.
I
Well, he did, I was gonna say, he's the youngest
His
here, but I'm
email.
like, here's the one that's kicking and screaming, no, I like my paper.
It's however the commission decides they wanna do it, but it's a lot, like she does it, they leave them there, and then the next month, as you're preparing the packet, you just send the different things and it just goes right into that same
You can
file.
get email on it, we can just, when we email out the packet, you got it.
You got it.
I do that anyway.
I would suggest something bigger than the mini,
Yeah.
it's good for me because I carry
That's
it
an
all the
8-inch,
time.
they have a 12-inch screen, and maybe a 12-inch
This is
screen.
Well, it's to consider, and I really think we should consider it and figure out how we can do it and make it work, so that we don't have these. I mean, I feel like I got a whole room now of paper.
And this one is wide open.
Yes, you
It's
do.
like sign record, because you don't really need sign record.
But you can put it in
500
sections
years,
too,
500 years, so you don't have to-
you know what I mean, like your packet can go in sections.
Mhm.
Like when you email me the different sections, if you have to email it to me and I print them out,
Mhm.
it can just stay right here, it can go into that date in sections.
And you can bookmark it too.
We'll research it for you.
And when you ask,
Think about, and just take a look at how much the cost is right now.
Let's talk to Mark about tablets.
and possibly talk to Bobby if you would about some sort of we have to, I'm gonna say we're gonna have a policy. And also when you talk to Mark, how does that happen? And if it is like Commissioner Lori was saying, his is only, internet driven, so it's not cellular. So, so you're gonna have to be somewhere where there's connectivity. So if you connect that up at your home, you connect that up to your home, and sometimes, when you connect to your home, all of a sudden, other things connect to it. How that works, just to protect the commissioners,
Right, so
just to protect the commissioners, that nothing from their home is accessible on that. Just to protect everybody, so,
Well, Mark's always worried about security.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be one thing he would definitely,
He'll probably recommend these
but
local
they
here.
do it down the laptop.
You put a VPN on it, but-
they all have,
They all have, except for one of the commissions, I think she just likes her paper, so she doesn't have it, but they all have, their iPads or whatever you wanna call them, the
For
tablets.
me, if I need something on paper, I just print it.
Or you could ask for a printed or
Well,
however
but
you
I,
want
but I
to
often
Then
don't,
you can-
I don't need all of the things that are coming in these packets. I mean, these things are pretty huge now. But what I feel I'm gonna take some notes on, or I, want to bring in and remind myself, I'll just print it, I have a printer, I can do that.
Well, you can make notes on that,
Oh, yeah.
That's
Well, I
fine.
don't, yeah, I don't have
I'll
any
make notes.
tablets, but I'm just saying, I don't find that a problem.
So I feel like with whatever we do, you want one that has a pen with it.
Yes,
So that
something
they-
like what BJ has would be perfect.
On all iPads and iPad Pros and iPad Airs, all use the pen, you can get an Apple Pencil, such an Apple Pencil. I was just using iOS, you have the Apple devices, because, you can get Android tablets really cheap, but it's not gonna be as easily, and it's not gonna be easy for her to load all that, especially for different, like if you have an Apple and
They would
Android.
all have to be the same.
Yeah.
They all have to be.
Yeah, they all have to be, well, he would order them all at one time.
Yeah.
So that's something that we have to get a cost from it too.
Right, so he's doing really things.
We'll research it.
Do you have anything else that, before I open up to public comment? Okay, I'm gonna open it up for public comment. If you'd like to say something, please come forward, state your name and your address if you would, please. You so choose. Karen, you've got the clock, 3 minutes.
Good afternoon, Danny Miller, 1400 Sunset Drive, Winter Park. Try to be very brief. As regards the CRA grants, and perhaps this is already underway. You mentioned a competitive program. I think those funds might be most efficiently used and get the most desired result from the city's perspective if there's stated criteria that is ranked and is weighted towards the things that you want. You mentioned build out, getting your tenant ready, that kind of thing. If that's the focus of the city, then maybe those applications that come in that are skewed to those, and they get more points for achieving those things as opposed to putting a coat of paint on it. Then you have that ranked criteria and you have a competitive application, then those will kind of naturally float to the top. As regards to school, I can't let that pass. Thank you.
Be welcome. I really think.
It say the same thing that, I said to Charles when we first met. That location can be the beating heart of downtown redevelopment. In the master planning process thus far, there's been a lot of talk, and heard talk today about civic uses. That's kind of a nebulous term, and focus will come to that, I guess, as the master planning process and community involvement hopefully proceeds. I would suggest that when the time comes for negotiating with the school, that is not a process to be taken lightly. And make no mistake about it, it will be a hard-nosed negotiation. And what we're up against as a city is an unrealistic expectation, I believe, has been set on the part of the school board. They think that it's worth $4.5 million. I'd suggest to you that that is just beyond the realm of possibility. So you have to overcome that. Perhaps the city may even consider bringing an attorney on who's very skilled in negotiation and land development, perhaps with some municipal or county experience, and that kind of thing. It's a highly specialized thing. And if you get the right person, it won't cost you a penny because of the result that you'll get with someone like that's help. Real quickly, there was mention about a rental inspection program. I'm unsure what's involved in all of that. Just remind you that there is a Landlord-Tenant Act in the state of Florida. And in the case where you have multiple families living in a dwelling, that kind of thing, we've got zoning laws that would help us out on that. And I'd ask that you think very carefully about adding yet another level of regulation and inspection and that kind of thing. And if people are just gross a little bit, and I'm a landlord in this town, but there are folks that grossly abuse their tenant. They don't do just what's right.
Right.
And if you look at it, I would guess that 9 times out of 10 are current codes, and that kind of thing, take care of that kind of bad attitude on the part of landlord. Last thing, thank you for your indulgence, is the top 2 items right here. Runoff and septic tanks. Commissioner Banks, you and I both old enough to remember when you could wade into that water out here at Lake Stella waist deep and see your toes. It was crystal clear.
Yes.
So runoff and septic tanks. We've recognized the problem. I suggest that the low-hanging fruit to begin to address the issue is to take a very close look at the ordinance that requires septic tank hookup to the line and go after that. And you probably accomplish a lot just in that first step. Thank you for your indulgence on time and for hearing me out. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I,
Yes, sir.
you know, right there with the nursing home, we used to go there fishing. Because that's the biggest of the sewage was winding up there. Yes, that's true facts. Go there fishing, for catfish. Like this happened, yeah, it really was. It really was.
And, you know, I do wanna say this, and Mr. Miller, you know, as far as the north side, I believe all the commissioners here, I mean, we did this long before, I mean, this was one of our top priorities in the very beginning, never has it not been a priority. It's just trying to figure out how we go about it, how we go about this. And I feel like we've accomplished a lot. I, for one, didn't want a school there, and we're not getting a school there. And I think that's a huge benefit for the community, is that right there in that neighborhood, that they don't have that. So, but I believe all along, all the commissioners here, you know, in a perfect world, we would have probably already been over there, figured that out, how to be over there. It's just, there's, like Charles said, you know, there's planning, there's discussions, there's just different components to it, and government just doesn't move very quickly sometimes. But I know that they feel like, at least I believe that Mr. Bowling, you know, in the conversations, he knows that ultimately that we're very interested in that. Don't you feel that, Charles, that?
I think so, and he said they don't have to, agency to agency, they don't have to get full appraised value.
Yeah.
So,
They did an appraisal on it, they had a developer that was looking at it, and so they did do that, they did their due diligence.
if they were selling to a
as far as that.
developer, I think there are some requirements they have to meet based on the appraised value, but to another government entity, it would have to be full appraised value.
When we could go kind of, look at Alaska, when they first attempt, some of the figures, you know, I talked to the mayor over there one time, the public commissioner, and prior to what they, I don't know what kind of attorney, you know, he was, but he had set on the price. I don't know if he had got it from somewhere or where he got it from. But Mr. Miller is so right. I think it would benefit the city, once we get this ball rolling, is to hire an attorney. And that
Right,
means,
yeah.
attorney, and these little contracts like that. Yeah, you got special. I got enough for you special, but don't y'all get it. Yeah, but, right.
Well, the situation with this school is different than, you know, in Blackhawk or some schools. I mean, this was a community school that was given to the school district around, you know, back in the 19 teens, and all the land was donated to the school district. My argument has always been that it's, you know, the community gave the land for the school, it's time now, if they don't want it, for the school district doesn't need it, to give it back to the community. You know, just like that Cypress Avenue, that site, the site was not moving part that we vacated as a city, there's a reverter clause that says that if it's not used as a school, it has to be returned to the city. So I mean, there's all kinds of situations with all those parcels that are around there. So I mean, we're dealing with a very different, beast than what, the Jenkins and those other schools that are close to Blacka. We just need to sit down and start talking to them. And the time's not,
I think what kind of got me going is, I've been out, traveling around and looking at a lot of little towns and a lot of little cities. And then I came back to Crescent City. And Crescent City, we have very, very few brick buildings left. Most of the old towns that I see outside of Crescent City, even Hastings, and I hate to bring Hastings up, they still have their, brick buildings. And, I see a lot of main streets now, that have, really made a big difference with those kinds of cities. And, yeah, we're on the right track with Main Street, things are going well, but one of the very last brick buildings that we have structure is the school. And I just think that once I came back and I just drove around, it would just be nice to be able to preserve that at this point.
Very good.
So,
Part of the history of Christmas City.
the big part.
Yes, it is. History of Christmas City. I got some history I can quote in my mind. I mean, on paper. I got some history. Well,
I bet you do,
yes, I do.
I bet you do, from over there, a lot of memories. Okay, do we have anything, everybody else good? Okay, we're meeting again tomorrow at 3 o'clock. Okay, how long do we anticipate?
It's only 2 chapters, so it depends on you.
Well, the annexation chapter is very easy because it's based on state law. Yeah, it's most of it gets straight from statutes, and the other one's the sign code, which, now that we have the right version of it, is pretty kind of dry.
We got amended it in the last 2 years.
It's been amended 5 times, actually, since, but I was in office when we first passed the sign code, and I think there's at least 3 times since then that I found ordinances that was amended, so,
From the same could.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, that was a big deal back then.
Yeah,
We took months writing it. So, and just little parts of it added and changed and stuff, but it's been an accumulation, there's a lot to it. But I mean, it all kind of, I think we got the version of it that it's been all codified and in there, so we just have to review it. But it's really not very long.
We don't have too much left on the land development code either, because the planning and zoning, I think, is on their last 2 chapters, and they'll be doing them Thursday night.
So maybe we can talk about ours up by January.
There's a light at the end of the tunnel.
Okay. With that, I'm gonna go ahead and adjourn this workshop. Thank you all.
Apologize, be late, but
We were all late.
I